How you doing, Mr. DJ's back on a resume countdown of my fantasy playlist of August 30th, 2015. Coming in at number 26. I guess I'll go ahead and stiff this record out at number 26. It's a good record, but it's just, well, there's a lot of other good records too coming out that's on my fantasy playlist. A lot of stiff competition. Plus, this record's not getting any traction at all, and it does deserve to get some traction. A couple of stations on oh gosh, XM Radio, they were playing this record, but they moved off of it. Ryan, his last name, Cabrera. I might be mispronouncing his last name. Ron Cabrera with House on Fire. This was kind of a comeback hit for him. On the Way Down was one of his biggest hits, probably his biggest hit. That was back in 2004. I remember having that on a fantasy playlist. Went to number 15 on Billboard's Hot 100 and might have made top 10 on my fantasy playlist back in 2004. Cabrera, rather, he was in a band, popular band in Dallas back in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was called Rubik's Groove. That's pretty cool, like Rubik's Cube, Rubik's Groove. They opened, get this, they opened for bands like Cheap Trick and Third Eye Blind. But then, in 2001, Cabrera released his independent album, his own album, and the album was called Elm Street. Bear with me, because my notes are all over the place on this piece of paper. Let me show it to you. I'm not lying. It's Elm Street, the album that he produced independently. It got a favorable response. The album got such a favorable response. He left the group, Rubik's Groove, and he signed a deal with Atlantic Records in 2001 and Take It All Away. First major label album for Ron Cabrera, and Take It All Away. It was co-produced by Goo Goo Dolls, John, I believe it's Resnick. I need to learn how to pronounce these words. They're just not simple like John Doe or John Payne or John whatchamacallit. Even whatchamacallit is easier to pronounce than some of these names. John Resnick, I believe, is how you pronounce his last name, of the Goo Goo Dolls. He co-produced that album. He came out with about 3 or 4 albums and 1 EP. And by the way, he was on a reality show, the Ashley Simpson show. Remember Ashley Simpson now. When Cabrera came out with On the Way Down, that was in 2004. It was a huge year for Ashley Simpson. He was on Ashley Simpson's reality show called The Ashley Simpson Show. You may remember that Ashley Simpson, if I remember correctly, she was the younger sister of Jessica Simpson. And she had some great hit records in 2004. Two Pieces of Me, Shadow, and Lala. God, Lala was killer. But I'm getting off topic. The latest, and the name of his EP, and I wrote it down on here. Again, my chicken scratched this on. Wake Up Beautiful. Name of his EP. I do believe, although I couldn't find the record itself, I do believe this song is on the EP called House on Fire. It's a great record. It's just, a lot of good records get thrown by the wayside, and it's because, number one, contrary to a lot of people's opinions, there's still a lot of good records coming out. Good music did not end in the 90s or 2000s. And take it from me, I know, I'm 56. I go way back than some of these 30 and 40-year-olds who say, oh God, music sucks today. Forget it. There's a lot of good songs coming out now, and you got to deal with the ever classic problem of tight playlists on FM top 40 stations. Even though XM radio is a little bit more flexible, their playlists still are a little bit tight. You just can't play everything. Therefore, good song like this falls right through the cracks. But if you're watching this video and you like this song, hey, go ahead, download it. If I introduced this record to you, that's great. Just found out about another record that you liked. Ron Cabrera, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. And the song that I'm going to play for you is called House on Fire at number 26.